Alright, welcome to Monday morning, everyone. It is, I think, around 5:15, 5:30-ish. Oh, no, only 5:07. But ended up waking up without my alarm at 4:30, even though I was planning on waking up at 5. So, yeah, I guess my body just wants me to be up, even though I've only had 5 hours of sleep, and I did a pretty big run yesterday, so I can definitely feel it in my legs, but yeah, I don't know, just interesting. We're up, so I'm not gonna slow myself down. I'm just gonna get to work for the day, and there is quite a bit of stuff that I have to do. One of the big tasks is honestly just gonna be, first and foremost, getting all of client work out of the way, because it is Monday, so that is just my goal for the day. I'm not gonna be mad if I don't get 8 hours of deep work. I just want to get my client work done, client meetings done. Then from that point on, I'm going to get chapter 3 live, because I just read a message from my editor there. And that's the main channel. And then after that, just do my DM system and get that going. And then maybe do a little bit of a reflection as to, I don't know, just, I can explain it when I do it, but why I refrained from just deciding to make money. Because there are active times where I make the conscious decision not to, and I want to figure out why I do that and how the fuck I can stop doing that, because it doesn't make sense to me. And when I sit here sometimes to clarify what I'm doing and what my actual goal is, I think I'm getting a really good sense of that. And now I just need to make sure my business aligns with that same freedom that I have and chase for in every other aspect of my life. So, not to yap too much, but that is kind of how I'm feeling. But I'm gonna get the lights off, start working for the day, and I will keep you boys updated. Alright, so it's an hour and 30-ish minutes later. I did honestly a pretty long journal reflection. These pages are smaller, but there's a good amount of them. I did 2 full pages, so I guess 4 pages technically. And then I got my client work done, which was pretty just bare bones and simple for today. I just had to review a video, so I'm all good going into meetings. Then I got I'm just in the process of getting what's called pre-edit file to my editor. So we do the videos chapter by chapter, and this is just the chapter 3 section that I'm going to be sending him so he can edit on his own device. And it's a massively downscaled media file, so he can download it and use it. And we do that through using proxies of proxy files. So it's only what would be a 20 to 50 gigabyte chapter, which there are 12 of. There is instead maybe only 5 gigabytes. And then my editor proxies that so he can add a whole crap ton of animations and everything, and it does not have any impact on his operating system. But also we can send the media over web, which is better than having him remote into my computer, because it just makes the ease of use easier. So that's what's going on here. The media is just copying over, and once this is done, I'm going to put it on Google Drive and he will begin editing. Then I also just have a video being transferred to my storage drive, because I want to make sure I have space on my SSD. And then after all that's done, or I guess right after I end this recording, as I just keep talking, I'm gonna go in and send hot outreach, because one of the things that I have been thinking about a lot is almost the victimhood mindset that just comes from purely creating content. And it's something that I fall into, but really notice when you look at other people and see honestly just the state of, I guess, the whole market, people's expectations, etc. And I am freezing. It's really cold out here. I don't know why. I moved here for it to be warm. But the state of the market and what I see going on is purely relying on YouTube organic at any level is not a intelligent business decision. And it's something that my whole thing is YouTube organic, so that's not easy for me to admit and say. I wish there was the way to only focus on YouTube organic, but the reality of the situation is that there's not. Now, I have two beliefs around how you can then make adjustments. I think if you're running an info product and you have a pretty large brand, like medium to large size brand, and I'm getting my blanket, you should be doing outreach you should be running ads, because what that means is you can do retargeting if you have a bigger brand, but then also ads just compound onto organic a lot better for an info product because mass reach is helpful. But for what I do at an agency, mass reach isn't that helpful. I don't want to be onboarding, nor do I have the capacity to onboard 10 clients at one time. Now, could I make it work if 10 people decided they wanted to pay me money? In the past, like the last little while, I've said no to people, which is, it just is what it is. That being said, though, going forward, I am saying yes, so I will be figuring that out. But for the agency, and to kind of go back to that, I think it is a absolute no-brainer to have the outreach system, because what that does is it's a low cost, almost no cost method of actually getting those contacts made. And what's so good about it is there's very little. So the big thing that gives it the advantage over ads, in my opinion, is when you understand the game you're playing of like, oh, I don't need to. As soon as you can get over the high horse in your mind of like, oh, I don't need to onboard 1 million people and have the craziest outreach system in the world, you can just say to yourself, hey, I just am doing a simple system to reach out to people. You can then move into understanding what your unit economics are. Most people would fare really well onboarding 2 to 4 clients a month, right? Compounding over the year, that's going to be a lot of clients that you get. And if you have good retention and a monthly recurring model for those clients, you'll stack a solid income. Now, when it comes to scaling beyond that, I think the only way with an agency is percentages. That being said, though, for that initial phase, which I've spoken about this, but I'm fully rebuilding into, so I'm starting as if I was a complete beginner, the outreach is the best way to do that. And it's low cost, so there's no risk that comes with ads. But at the same time, it's also highly personalization based, which leads to better client retention, which given a monthly recurring model, especially with content, is huge. And content's a high trust thing to sell. So it is especially huge. And something that I've been speaking about more and more is there is the helplessness that I personally experience when you rely just on organic. And I know it's not just me, because I've spoken to a lot of people that share the exact same thing of it kind of sucks to rely on only organic. And when you do, you get put in pretty tough situations, just to be transparent with you. Like, there will be times when you need a video to do good, and if it doesn't do good, you're like, shit out of luck. And that's okay at larger fluctuations, but you should be also having a consistent revenue driver. And the problem that I had is I'd be trying to pretty much say, oh, okay, that makes sense, cool, but I want to focus purely on the 3 channels to acquire clients. And it's just, I don't want to say it's dumb, because I see where I'm coming from, but it is dumb. Because what ends up happening is you get put in a situation where, and I have to go back and explain this now, but if you have the intelligence to see past views and like vanity metrics of socials as your barometer for success, the situation that will immediately put you in is you sit there and wonder, what am I actually doing to drive revenue sometimes? Because again, transparently, you're going to be put in situations where you're making videos and for sometimes you won't get any leads. And what's even worse is that you have videos where you get leads and then you go back into downturns when you don't get leads. That's when it really kind of sucks. So I say all of that because what I have been kind of honestly not wanting to do, but now I want to do because I'm realizing the importance of it, is just build a hot outreach system. And a hot outreach system isn't, because I would hate to do the mass outreach, like reach out to a whole bunch of people kind of thing. The kind of outreach that I am going to be doing is very methodical. It's very like simple and slow. But what you're doing is you're going to people and you're having an omnipresent approach. So you're messaging them on different platforms, their email if you can get it. And instead of using a hook message or something, you are going to literally just give them the farm up front. Full strategy, full loom, full research, etc. And you'll send to a lower number a day. So I'm gonna start at sending 5 a day, and depending on how that goes and what I think the time allocation looks like, maybe jump to 10. What that does is it gives you a really good entry that allows your follow-ups to compound, but it also positions you for a long-term relationship with the client from the start and mitigates the amount of time that you're gonna waste on sales calls. Because that's something that I don't think enough people are considering, is it really does absolutely suck just like sitting on sales calls and being in a phase of your business where you are doing sales and you've got to be on calls all day or jumping on this, that. So it is really nice to jump on calls with people who you've already had an established conversation with, so it's really natural. So that's going to be the hot outreach. It compounds on your brand on top of that, and then it's also a consistent driver of revenue, which is the goal of this whole thing. And the important thing for me to focus on and prioritize is the sustainability element. So first and foremost, not trying to make too much content, right? I was planning to do 4 business channel videos, do one weekly this month. And my business channel video on TJR, I don't want to write it off yet, but so far, and it looks like it's going to be a complete flop. It is currently at, and I think it's lost me more subscribers than it's gained. Yeah, it's like lost me 2 subs. It's currently at 70 views, and the click-through rate is only 5%, and the view duration is 4 minutes. So honestly, not that good, and it could always have a turn up, but I don't know. It's kind of crappy. It only has 320 impressions, which really sucks too. I don't know. It's just kind of crappy, to be honest. But I'm not gonna sweat it. What it did teach me is that let the business channel take its time and slowly build itself. So not try and do like this weekly sprint trying to, again, jam square cog in a circle hole. I'm just gonna play it chill, and what that means is continuing the once a month to twice a month schedule and prioritizing, to me, what's the most important right now, which is getting the agency developed, right? That's why the business channel even exists in the first place. But there's also the aspect of like, hey, I'll just focus on my hot outreach system, which we're gonna be building now, and that is the fastest way to do so. So that is what I am excited to do, what I'm doing, and yeah, no other, I mean, that was a pretty big update. So what I'm gonna do now is send this over to my editor once it is live and good to go. And yeah, that should be all. This hot outreach task, I wanna send 5 messages, 7:35. I have my first meeting at 10 a.m. I should be able to get it done. I'm not building like a crazy system or anything around it. I just wanna send the messages out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then after that, I have a little bit of time to do sales follow-up. Then I have my client meetings. And then after that, I'm going to work on, well, after that, it'll only be like a 12-hour work day. So I'm gonna do a little bit of work on self-alchemy and kind of like readjusting the things that I look at, because I have trackers and like data trackers and plans and all this stuff, and I kind of just have to reintegrate the hot outreach system into it. And again, what's important here is what's really important here is making sure I prioritize revenue, because that is going to be not a shift. I've always prioritized revenue from the branding and all this stuff, but I need to really make sure I do it, because it's been a mistake that I allow views to sometimes weigh in, and it's no good. So yeah, that is all. I am gonna get back to work, and I'll keep you guys updated. I'll probably be in a pretty good mood once I finish this highest leverage task, hardest task of the day, and yeah, we'll be cooling. Hey, how's it going? Not bad. It's just Monday morning for me, so gotta get. I guess this is you're my first meeting of the day, and holy, now that I turn my lights on, I gotta clean this hat. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's 10 a.m. Exactly. Yeah. So that's the important thing too, is like, it appears longer, but it's actually way faster to edit, because I can read through transcriptions and work off of that. That being said, I still want to take full accountability for the fuck up, because that is my fault. That is my fault. So it's on my business channel. So this is an advanced breakdown. Yeah. So I share that with you because here, and I'll go on Paint and explain what this looks like. So this is how functions of YouTube impressions work. So you have a baseline level of views, but then you also have this kind of dotted line, which we'll measure as statistical, or SS, statistical significance. So this is an amount of data that allows us to jump to conclusions. So at this video size, there is not much data that we can pull, especially on a video like this. This is the one where I looked at, and this is also partly why I was really against the split test, is because it's too low to have any statistical significance. So with videos like this, when you see a video that's below the point of statistical significance and the click-through rate is not awful, and by the way, don't be like convinced that the click-through rate is 0 here. The only thing that's happened is the impressions have flatlined, so it's skewed. So I'll give you an example. I think this video is skewed up. So yeah, like this video doesn't have a 7% click-through rate. But what it does have is on whatever day the impressions given, it had 7%. So it's just skewed data. And when you have skewed data like this, it's an indicator of two things being wrong. The first one's going to be the idea, and then the second thing, and sorry, let me explain the idea one. So there's a reason, and your channel's base level minimum is what I'd consider the amount of views you'd get if you posted a video nobody cared about. So this is a video that nobody should care about unless they have relation to you. Like this video has to do with you. And because of that, you can see this is kind of your base level impression on a decent video like this. And the retention's pretty good as well, which is the next thing I'll cover. On a video like this, the impressions and the data is far lower because the idea of the video isn't as strong, along with just the retention. So I know it seems contrary, and this is why YouTube data can't be looked at as like a hard, fast rule, but pretty much how the life cycle of a video is going to work is, in order to get it to the baseline of statistical significance, which is where we begin to measure whether your click-through rate is even decent, you have to have a set level of impressions, which are determined by the retention and the idea. But what also happens is you can rely on previous channel credibility that's going to automatically buy you these things. So you can also go to, and I'll just write down audience here. So when we look at a video like this doesn't appeal to your current core audience that watches you, and it's also not a good video, right? And I'm just qualifying not good by what the algorithm has determined it. I'm not talking about actual production or any of that. So where we're at right now is probably somewhere along this line. Like we're probably on this like initial starting phase, and then YouTube is like, it's not quite good enough, boom, flatline. So then as a result, the CTR data becomes completely irrelevant at this level. Same thing is happening here, but to a lesser extent. So the CTR is better on this video, but what's important to mark is that this is a video that is purely serving your existing audience. So what will happen with a video like this, and you can even see this on the view chart, it's gonna pop up in views, and then what will happen is it will flatline because it applies to such a small area of people. So this is an existing client that I worked with, and he has a channel that's a really good example of this. I've never seen a channel do this as often. So on every video he uploads, his click-through rate is really good for the first 500 to 1,000 impressions because he has a very loyal audience. And then what happens is as his video gets shot to a wider audience, his click-through rate just gets cooked. So I remember having conversations with this particular individual, and he'd tell me, yo, my click-through rate is so good. He's at this point, right? Which is, he's now reached the point of his data is not statistically significant and it goes up. And I just want to keep educating you on YouTube because I'm on a bit of a roll here, but sorry. This happens at new levels of growth. So let's say you want a video to get to 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million views. Each of these lines are segments of audience, and at each of these stages, you have to revisit your packaging to see if that works. So let's call this section here 1 to 1,000. And then this section here 1 to 100. So in your 1 to 100 phase, this is the people that already watch your channel. So your packaging doesn't have to be crazy to break through this audience group, right? The 1 to 1,000, your packaging has to be slightly more appealing to a broader range. 1 to 100,000 or 1 to 10,000, however you want to look at it, and then eventually 1 to 1 million and 1 to 10 million, even 1 to 100 million. So, all right, I just finished my first 2 client meetings and then also my editor meeting. I have 2 more meetings and then I'm done meetings for the day. I have a proposal for a client to finish up, and then that should be enough to get onboarded. And then on my second client call today, I should be going over the final things before we go on to a monthly payment term. So going well. I don't know if you can see it here, but I didn't realize how tired I look. Like on a meeting and it's like my bags under my eyes are crazy. But regardless, I naturally get pretty baggy eyes. It's just pretty bad today compared to normal. And I'm also like not really concerned about it. It's whatever. It was like interesting. My client pointed out, he's like, yo, are you good? To which, of course I am. I'm excited. Things are moving along a lot better. Pretty much just said to my editor, like, yo, get the video done. And it comes from my mistake with the videos and not, like I made this rob the bank video way too long and I didn't account for the post-production variable that like the longer you make a video, the harder the post gets. And I have to do a better job doing that, and so many other things on the next video I'm going to do, which I actually have to start getting ready as we move into the later stages of this video getting ready to go live. Goal is to get the main channel video live by the end of the month. That will make me so happy to have done. And then I will be able to get the next video on Alex G all good and ready to go. And then I will, be in a really good situation there. When it comes to the outreach, like I said, I have a proposal to send. I have 2 proposals to send. And then I need to also just get a strategy rolling for the 3 high quality outreach a day. Or not 3 high quality outreach a day. The other 3 outreach I have to send today, which I'm not sure I'm going to get around to because I've already been working for close to 7-ish hours and I have 2 more meetings, which I know are going to make me tired. Actually not 7-ish hours, close to 4 hours 34 minutes, but I've been awake for around 5 or so hours. So by the end of this, it will be close to 7 hours on meetings. And after, or not 7 hours of meetings, you can tell I'm like going batshit tired. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna have the energy to get through it all, but I'm gonna have to find it. And yeah, things are going. I realized what I was doing wrong, or what I was thinking that wasn't true, and I'm just acting more in accordance to what reality is, which is good. So that is all. I am going to jump on these calls and then I'll keep you guys updated after the calls with kind of how I'm gonna make it through the rest of today and get my stuff done. Okay, so I'm done the meetings now. Just talking to a friend while I eat some ramen. I've got to get a proposal over ASAP because the prospect responded just now. So on the clock for that. But that being said, if I try and go into it without eating, I'm just going to be super unproductive. So I'm going to spend 10-15 eating, then have another NeuroGum, get this done. That'll be a big hump for the day. gonna be, yeah, I'll explain my full outreach strategy after this, but I'm done all the meetings, so yeah, just really good. Gonna have this later. Okay, it's pretty late. It's 4:17. I've almost been awake for 12 hours now on the 5 hours of sleep that I got, but I just sent over, or not sent over, I just finished recording 2 massive proposals. They're uploading, I'm about to send them over, and then I really need to just take a break, go for a run, and then probably wind down and go to bed. But yeah, was really good. Excited, nailing down the process, created this super big document as well that just has everything I do in a text format, and I know it's not pretty. I'm gonna make it pretty when I'm sending it as my mass outreach probably tomorrow, but that was really good. And now that I have that done, I'm just gonna get these sent off, cross that out for the day, finished everything I said I would, and then yeah, kind of go for my run and recalibrate, get ready to wind down. All right, so I'm back from my run after doing all the proposal and everything. It's around 8 something. To be honest, I got home from my run, and because I ran so far yesterday and I ran today, I was just dead tired. I ate. I've just sat here and rotted for like an hour, and now I'm ready to go to bed. So I'm gonna shower, which I've been holding off, and go to bed. There's not much for today, but I got the proposals done. Those were good, and I got everything that I said I was gonna get done, all the big levers, and it looks like I might be getting started with one client where he has a big team, so the onboarding process is kind of complicated, but after that it looks like we're going to be going through with it, so that's awesome. And then I have another proposal that I sent today, and then tomorrow my goal is to really get the system for the outreach dialed in, so that's what I'm gonna focus on. And yeah, that is all.